Nityanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Yanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganashadasham Tattvamasya Rilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nityanandam. Hi, this is Manati Ovyananda. Tonight we are going to talk again about living enlightenment. And what I've opened up is the chapter on leadership. I know leadership is a very important quality that many people want to possess because they feel it will make them successful in life, typically in the business world. Now, there's many different qualities of a leader that they talk about, and especially in the corporate world. There's many books written on it. There's these weekend programs where you develop friendships with people and you do sports and do these sort of team building exercises. I even was involved in some of those during my time in the corporate world. But the thing with these is they're not lasting. They give you a feel-good feeling for a while, maybe even only that day. But then once you go away from there, or after a couple of days, the same old things come up again that take you away from feeling that responsibility of being a leader, or that good feeling that you had during the program or with your teammates. The reason this is because you're not working at all on your inner space. You're only working on these outside circumstances. You're not going in and seeing where the state is inside of you. Swamiji gives them quotes inside this book. What is a leader? So, for instance, Peter Drucker defines a leader as someone who has followers. John C. Maxwell says, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Warren Bennett says, leadership is a function of knowing yourself, having a vision that is well communicated, building trust among colleagues, and taking effective action to realize your own leadership potential. And John Gardner defines leadership as the process of persuasion and example by which an individual or leadership team induces a group to take action that is in accord with the leader's purpose or the shared purpose of all. So there's so many of these different definitions of what is a leader. There's like thousands of these examples. And also if you look online, there's several 100 million hits if you pull up the word leadership in Google. So it's a huge thing. It's a huge topic, and many people want to know about it. And Swamiji has done many webinars on leadership and wealth, especially on wealth, manifesting fortune. He just did a beautiful workshop this weekend, Manifesting Fortune, and gave some deep truths. And he never says all of these types of things. What he says is, what can you change inside of you? What is the cognition you can manifest within yourself to create a powerful space, a space of expansion? And one of the key points he says is responsibility, taking responsibility. Which I'll get to in a moment. Now, a lot of people want to know, can leaders be created or are they born? So Swamiji says here that, I'm going over the actual questioning part. See, first we have to understand that every civilization has focused its energies in certain fields. In the West, they focus their efforts on the outer world science, innovation, discovery, and creation of products and services to improve the quality of life and comforts. These outer world scientists have discovered so many products and services which have greatly benefited humanity and improved the quality of life of humans all over the world. Just as there is science of the outer world, there is a vast science of the inner world, something that lies within all of us. The scientists of the inner world, or rishis, worked on various tools and techniques to handle the different emotions we experience and our mind. over the last 10,000 years, these scientists of the inner world have created tools and techniques that help us handle our emotions and overcome the stress and depression from emotions. They have created techniques for us to live beautifully with ourselves. These tools and techniques are what I call meditation techniques. So, most of my discussion on leadership will be focused on giving an understanding of human emotions, the mind, and how we can use these simple understandings from the inner scientists to help us lead a successful and fulfilling life. In most organizations, those who have become leaders have achieved the status of the leader. They may not have necessarily achieved the state of the leader. What do I mean by this? So Swamiji goes into that. So, if you think about it, you're getting, with these leadership programs and all these outer tool things, to become that status of leader. So that status of leader, that status of being rich and wealthy. So there's different statuses, right? But those are not having the state of something. That means it is part of your inner space. And nothing is more powerful in the outer world than your inner space and what you carry within you. So Swamiji says, what are the key ingredients that make a successful leader? And he gives a beautiful example. There was once a great war between two countries. The war had been going on for some time, and the soldiers were starting to feel tired of the long battle. On a hot afternoon, a man in the civilian clothes was riding past a small group of tired soldiers digging a huge pit. The group leader was shouting orders and threatening punishment if the work was not accomplished within the hour. The man riding the horse stopped and asked, "Sir, why are you shouting orders? Why are you only shouting orders? Why can't you help them yourself?" asked the stranger on horseback. The group leader looked at him and replied, "What do you mean? I am the leader. The men do as I tell them." He then added, "If you feel so strongly about helping others, helping them, you are welcome to do so yourself." The man got down from his horse and started walking up to the soldiers at work. The group leader was simply shocked. The man took up the tools and started helping the soldiers and worked with them till the job was finished. Before leaving, the man congratulated the soldiers for their work and approached the group leader. He said, "The next time your status prevents you from supporting your people, you should inform your higher authorities, and I will provide a more permanent solution." The group leader was now completely surprised. Only now he closely looked at the man and realized that the man was the army general. So you see in that example, taking responsibility. The man on the horse took responsibility for what was happening, for the fact that the job was very important to get done. So he got down into it with his soldiers and did the work. Whereas the so-called leader, the status leader, he just simply barked the orders out and expected the work to get done in that way. So now we want to ask ourselves, how many so-called leaders in the organizations exhibit the qualities of the group leader? And how many people do you know who exhibit the qualities of the general leader? So regardless of the status in an organization, you will agree that the majority of the so-called leaders exhibit the qualities of the group leader. So the guy that was barking the orders to the army people. They achieve the status of leader, but not the state of leader. There are very few people who are ready to really help get the work done. The army general exhibited some of the key qualities that are important for a true leader. So he's listing here, Swamiji, some qualities here. Honesty and responsibility, caring genuinely about people, confidence, efficiency and lateral thinking skills, attention to detail, efficiency and effectiveness, broad-based thinking and doing. So then Swamiji gets into leadership consciousness. So, which is actually, leadership is a result of conscious choice made by an individual. So when you decide you want to be a leader, you're making a conscious choice and a declaration. Whereas you can't, you don't have to assume that a leader is born. You can decide to be a leader. So most of us achieve the status of a leader, not the state. So state is totally different. Status comes from society. When you are when you are leading a group of people, if you are forced to take responsibility of some department, or if you take responsibility out of your greed, then the status comes. But the state is totally different. And I think I've been there. When I use the word state, I mean your inner space or your being should mature enough to handle what you are entering, or the responsibility which you are assuming. When we just get the status without achieving the state, all the problems which exist in the corporate world start. Stress, tension in the personal level, and backbiting in politics and the level of the team. All these problems start when you don't achieve the state because you're just achieving the status. So, Swamiji is trying to express some truths from the East about this and how to achieve leader consciousness, the state of a leader. Status was just simply follow a man who has achieved this state of leader. So, status will simply follow a man who has achieved the state of a leader. Even if the status takes its own time, he will not be bothered. He will live like a king. His very life will be totally fulfilled. The invaluable feeling of fulfillment happens to be who achieve leader consciousness, happens to beings who achieve leader consciousness. So state. Basically, it's a person who is ready to take responsibility consciously, who is ready to handle life consciously, who does not constantly depend on the past or his memory. If you're dependent on memory of the past to take decisions, please be very clear you're a follower. You cannot be a leader. Responding spontaneously to situations is what I call responsibility, Swamiji says. A responsible leader is a person who is able to respond spontaneously to situations, who is fresh and continuously keeps himself alive, and who is not caught in the past. So basically, this is very good. I remember there's been times where I've been in this situation, and unfortunately I was only having the status of a leader. I never fully yet, only now I'm understanding what it is to have the state of a leader. So consciously taking responsibility for what is there from the right context. That's what I understand now to be a leader. When somebody gives you a title or you're pushed into a situation, even if it's something you like, even if it's something you enjoy, and if you're put into that space, if you're put into that position without having the space of a leader, it becomes more like a burden to you, more of an incompletion because you're not getting it. You're stuck in some mode, some incompletion type mode, where you feel like you're being burdened and the responsibility is put on you. So whatever reason, there's something inside of you, inside of your space, which actually has nothing to do with the position itself or the job or the responsibility. It has nothing to do with that, but only to do with your space and how you cognize life and how you cognize things that happen, and only acting out of the past. My God. So many things are ringing in my head. It's totally true. This happened to me, and that's why I'm talking from experience. So continuously dealing with situations based on what I thought was right from the past, which is all garbage. Because everything from the past, first of all, the past is dead. We have to leave the past in the past because it makes us unable to move and act spontaneously in the present moment, in that moment. Because you can't deal with things in the same way. There's no formula in life. Well, this happened before, so this must be what I have to do. No. Or you'll go from some cognition, which actually holds you back because you live in a space of fear or some other failure mode or something that happened in the past will keep you from acting in the present moment. That's why it's best to dump the past and just keep it there. Just bless it and say bye, thank you, I'm completing. And allow yourself to evolve as a leader in the future, in the present moment. Then the future will be bright. So taking responsibility for everything going on around you. And what is the context? Why do you want to take responsibility? Or I should say more like, why do you want to be a leader? Is it because you want the status? If so, you will be stressed out and you will not be successful. But are you taking a leadership role because you believe in, say, the cause, or you believe in the job, the work that you're doing? You believe it's going to help humanity, or it's going to help people, or it's even going to help the business, and you feel strongly about that, and you feel inspired by that. That is what helps you get into the space of being a leader, the context. Swamiji says it's always about context, not so much the action. So you can act like a leader, but you won't really be a leader unless you understand the context of why you're doing what you're doing and having that inspiration to keep going. So I hope you enjoyed today's leadership talk. Please download Living Enlightenment book, and you can read about so many beautiful, deep, insightful solutions, techniques, insights from the mind. I shouldn't say the mind, but from the inner space, the being of the Avatar, His Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda. This book is extremely powerful and beautiful, and it will answer your questions, and everything will come into place in your life. So please download the book and enjoy it. I hope you all decide to have the status of a leader. Nityananda.